Hey everyone, it's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with a little fight companion tonight for you for the World Super Series Super Middleweight bout tonight between George Groves and Chris Eubank Jr. Very excited about this boxing match. You know, it's not too often that I get really excited and interested in a boxing match, especially a domestic one. Although English boxing at the moment, British boxing is at a real high. So, this is just a showcase of that. This is another great matchup. I think this is going to be really entertaining. Probably a complete slugfest is what I'm expecting. I mean, the fighters are very even on paper. If you look at their their history, their boxing record, then they're quite similar. Of course, George Groves has lost a few times, but if you take the three losses, look at the three losses. Who's he lost to? Well, he lost twice to Carl Froch, who was the best around of his generation at that time, after the likes of Calzaghe, etc. Which is no disgrace, is it, losing to Carl Froch? But to be perfectly honest with you, the first fight was a little bit of a controversial stoppage, and of course George Groves got knocked out in the second fight, and then he's lost to Badu Jack as well, a Floyd Mayweather protege. Somebody who's considered to be one of the best in the world at this moment in time as well. So that's no disgrace at all to lose to either of those fellas. George Groves, to me, I think has got a really good chance in this fight tonight. I was looking at the odds before the match, and Chris Eubank Jr. slight favourite. He's about 4-6 odds, and George Groves is about 6-4. I'm personally going for George Groves in this fight. I think he's got that little bit of extra experience. I mean, in terms of ages, they're similar. I think Chris Eubank's a year younger at 28. And in terms of match fight experience, they're also quite similar, although I would say that the standard of opposition that George Groves has faced over his career is slightly higher than that of Chris Eubank Jr. But Chris Eubank Jr. has looked brilliant. It looks like certainly the next sort of best super middleweight to come out of this country. I'm expecting him to go on and rule for a couple of years. His dad was an unbelievable boxer. I was actually watching a whole bunch of Chris Eubank senior boxing matches today just to whet the old appetite, you know what I mean? Just to get me excited for this one. And I also watched a couple of juniors fights. But yeah, I mean, what a heck of a fighter Chris Eubank Sr. was. I watched the Calzaghe fight that he lost. I watched the Ben first fight, which he won, which was incredible, So I'm just looking forward to this. I'm hoping this is going to be up there with the 1990 bout between Nigel Benn and his father, Chris Eubank Sr. That'd be unbelievable. Everybody who's tuned in right now, I will be keeping you up to date with what's going on. And also Henry Hotspur, if you're familiar with that little fellow, will be joining me any moment. He is late, as you always expect him to be, but he will be here shortly, so I understand. But do me a favour now, if you're tuned in live watching this right now, do us a favour, chuck a like on this video. And also, if you feel inclined, give it a share all over social media, just tweet it to your mum or something. Here we go, and the MC is making the announcements here, alongside a bevy of beauties. What is going on with this MC's hairdo, by the way, Is this a reggae Zlatan Ibrahimovic? He's got dreads all the way down to his arse crack. In a suit. It just doesn't look right, do you know what I mean? Bob Marley never wore a suit. Do you know what I'm saying? But either way, here he comes. He's going to announce George Groves is now making his way to the ring. So here we go. It's all very exciting. Chris Eubank Jr. is in the ring. George Groves making his way to the ring. I mean, it's a flip of the coin at the moment, this fight, really. How are we going to decide this? I mean, I think Groves' is experienced. I think he's got a bit more power. He's a little tiny smidge bigger as well. He's got a horrendous jab, and by horrendous, I mean really good, really damaging. So I think he's probably slight favourite for me, even though the bookies have Eubank Jr. as the slight favourite. I mean, he has had less losses throughout his career. He's from a great pedigree. Of course, his dad's an unbelievable fighter. Stay Clint, how's it going, my friend? Stay Clint is in the house. Everybody else tuning in and commenting, get involved. Thank you very much for interacting on these videos. Stay Clint says Eubank win TKO. TKO round 10 is his prediction. It's a good prediction. It could happen. I think I'm going to go the opposite of that, do you know? I'm going to go for George Groves TKO round 10. How'd you like them apples? Mr. Cully says, come on, Groves. Man like Sim says, F off, you fat C. Well, F off to you too, pal. Get on. Go on, jog on, son. But here we go. George Groves is making his way down to the ring now. Belt on the line, I believe, in this fight as well. Dave Fool says, are you streaming the fight? I'm not streaming the fight, obviously not. I'm not ITV box office. I'm not Box Nation. I don't have the rights to stream these fights, so I won't be streaming these fights. What I will be doing is watching these fights, and for anybody who happens to be subscribed to this channel or who stumbles across these videos, you'll be able to keep up to date with what's going on if you're not able to watch the fight. Or maybe you're subscribed to the channel and you want to actually sync up and watch the fight along with me. So I will let you know as soon as the action gets underway, so you can do that. George Groves making his way to the ring currently. We've got 60 people in here already. Some of you probably just stumbled in here thinking this is a live stream of the fight based on some of the comments. It's not. So, you know, you should probably leave. B Dupes comments and says, where is Henry? Henry is just on his way. He's driving over here now. Don't know what he's been up to. You know, I said the fight should be starting around 10 p.m. He said, don't worry, I'll be there. You know, I'll be there for 10 o'clock. No worries. Of course, don't want to miss the start of this fight. It's now 11 past 10. What's he doing? Classic Henry Hotspur. So that's quite annoying. But here we go. George Groves coming down to the Prodigy Spitfire. What a tune. Coming down to the ring here. The light glistening off that bald dome of his, but he doesn't care. He looks focused. He looks determined. He looks like a man possessed. Really excited for this one, actually, because you know it's just going to be an absolute slobber knocker. The way these two guys fight. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. is very impressive, very quick, very powerful. Flurries, combinations, you know, absolutely fantastic. George Groves is, you know, more of a power puncher, knockout sort of a man. And if he lands one of those big hooks on anyone, they're in trouble. So I think this has got all the makings for a fantastic boxing bout. We'll see what happens, lads and lasses. But for everyone involved here, thanks for tuning in once again. If you're new here, chuck a like and subscribe. Great song choice from George Groves there, you know. Spitfire, bit of Prodigy. That is a great song choice. Hopefully he won't get done for copyright from them if you can hear it in the background, but there you go. He's giving it the big un here, old George, old St. George, giving it the big un. And the crowd are looking pretty excited right now. The roar bellows from the crowd here, and we are just minutes away from the start of this boxing match. He's putting on a real show here. Is this really necessary? Do you know what I mean? Is this really necessary? He's trying to do the old Prince Nazim back in the day and create a complete spectacle. Of course, he did this in the second fight at Wembley between Carl Froch and George Groves. He did this sort of epic introduction. Yeah, fair enough. It's kind of cool. It's a bit WWE though, mate. You know, I was expecting him to do the old Triple H, drink some water and spray it everywhere then. Come on, George, keep it real, son. Oh, dear. Yeah, pretty epic, though. This is quite the spectacle. Just listening to an interview before the fight of Chris Eubank Sr. He's got all the faith in the world in his son, of course. And to be fair, if you're growing up and you've got Chris Eubank as your dad and you go into boxing, you're probably pretty well set, you know. You're learning from somebody who was at the top of their game. It's funny how stuff like that works out, but it's not really, because not only do they, you know, possess the physical characteristics of their parents in a lot of ways, in most cases, but they also, you know, have that sort of natural ability, and the perfect tutelage and coaching comes down from above, because obviously they've been there, they've done that, they've been in a very privileged position where they've got the experience from being world-class competitors, and they pass it on down. Look at Nigel Benn and his son Connor, of course. He's another one coming through. So, you know, that's probably a factor. George Groves' dad, probably a plumber or something. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong there. Dr. Trolley, how's it going? He comments and says, I hate Eubank Jr. Come on, Groves. Why do you hate Chris Eubank Jr. then? It's just the arrogance, the cockiness, the fact that he's sort of trying to be a down-rate budget Aldi version of his father. Because he does sort of sound the same as him, you know, tries to put on that sort of upper-class accent. Don't necessarily understand it. I say tries to put it on. That's just the you know, who's raised him. So, of course, you're going to pick up characteristics of your dad. I personally am with you though, mate. For some reason, he just rubs me up the wrong way. I mean, I love his dad. His dad's so eccentric, you know, he does have that sort of arrogant, cocky attitude. But he also spouts a lot of wisdom, and he's been there, done that. He was at the time, you know, in the 90s, one of the best super middleweights in the world. You know, he upset the odds on a couple of occasions, beat Nigel Benn, then drew Nigel Benn again. and had some big fights. Steve Collins lost both of those fights against Steve Collins, I think. But basically, the people who he lost against, you know, were right up there as well. They were absolutely right up there. And to be fair, he did actually, I forget who the name of the chap now, but he did actually really badly hurt a fellow fighter, and gave him brain damage and all sorts of issues. I forget his name now. And since then, you know, after that, he basically said, I'm just going to try and win on points. So he wasn't quite the same fighter after that. But certainly, to me, one of the best super middleweights to come out of this country. Nigel Benn, to me, also absolutely fantastic. Gutted he never got one of those wins, actually. Watson, that's it, yeah. Morty Smith comments, good knowledge there, pal. And here we go. The dreadlocked Zlatan Ibrahimovic / Bob Marley wannabe is now introducing the fighters in the centre of the ring. Who is this guy? He's no Bruce Buffer or Michael Buffer, is he? Who is this geezer? Looks like he smoked about 3 fatties before coming out there. Oh, dear. All 3 judges from the United Kingdom. Referee looks like he's got a Man City badge on his shirt. It's not, but why would you design it to look like that? And now it's about to start. Here we go. Time to get those lovely ladies out the ring. It's time for the men to go to work. God, this is a proper militant production they've got on the go here, you know. This is quite the high standard. The stadium, the lighting, everything that's going on right now is of a very high standard. Production quality is high. And I think I can hear a certain Mr. Henry Hotspur making his way up the stairs here. So, yeah, here he is. He's just rocked up. You're just in time, mate. You're just in time.
Bang on time. That's what it's about. Hello to everybody out there. I've been aching to watch this today, absolutely aching for it. And I don't know why I wasn't more excited before. We haven't been talking about it enough, have we?
I know, yeah.
And it hit me today, and I thought, tonight we've got Eubank Jr. versus Groves. It's going to be epic. Nobody knows who's going to win.
That's it.
This ain't no Mayweather-McGregor fucking freak show. This is a proper boxing match we got today, ladies and gentlemen. So... absolutely buzzing.
Look at Eubank Jr. He's absolutely ripped to shit.
He is ripped. He looks like
made out of iron.
This is why I've been thinking Junior today. I've been thinking
he's
Junior
the
before.
bookie's favourite.
I was thinking Groves. I think Groves has got the reach,
got
a little bit on him. He's more natural in the weight class. Obviously, Junior's had to do a lot of work to get to this kind of build, but he's looking ripped. And
look at that muscle.
He is bookie's favourite.
Yeah, he is just bookie's favourite. Yeah,
which surprises me because a lot of pundits out there, a lot of experts have actually been backing Groves. Very, very 50s, very, very split. It's pretty much starting to cut. I'm so lucky that I managed to get here bang on time, mate. Bang on time.
But yeah, to me, I mean, for me personally, I think Groves is the favourite. He's slightly more experienced. He's got a slightly bigger frame, ever so slightly. Like you say, he's more natural. Chris Eubank Jr. has only lost 1 fight in his entire career. Groves has lost 3, but 2 of those were to Carl Froch and 1 of those to Badu Chak. No disgrace whatsoever. This is Chris Eubank Jr.'s toughest test to date. Let's see how he does. I mean, me personally, I sort of want him to continue with his father's legacy, win some titles here, and just cement that boxing family in history. So I expect him anyway to go on and be one of the best that Britain's
So you're backing Eubank,
I sort of want Eubank to win, but I think Groves is going to win. I think Groves is going to win.
Okay, but you'd like to see Eubank Jr. win because of the fairy tale of it. Is that what it comes down to? Because you're a bit of a Cinderella man.
Well, I really like his dad, you know. His dad's eccentric.
His dad's a bit of a ponce, though, mate. I'm sorry.
I like him, mate. He's hilarious,
every time I've heard him talk, he's just a bit... He's very self-absorbed, isn't he?
Do you want to hear my Chris Eubank impression?
That's why his son's Chris Eubank Jr.
That's it. And he's just the same. He's just the same, like self-absorbed, arrogant. But he's lacking in somewhat of the humour, I find. I think Chris Eubank Senior is more humorous.
More funny. Yeah, but maybe he'll get funny with age, and once you get hit in the head a few more times, it's sort of...
Look at him, he's right there.
The comedy genius.
Chris Eubank Senior literally cuddling Chris Eubank Jr. in the face off
for the Conor McGregor sort of...
Oh, here we go, we're about to go.
The ginger facial hair. That's what it's about these days.
And this is a very exciting boxing match.
Go on, quick prediction then. Quick prediction. How many rounds? Who's going to win? Go.
10th round, TKO, George Groves.
Okay.
Done.
I'm going to go 7th round, Eubank to knock him out.
Nice, I like it. I
reckon
it.
It could happen. Could happen. You don't know.
Right, here we go, lads and lasses.
The
match is about to get underway. I'll let you know as soon as the bell rings. So if you want to sync up and watch it along with us, you can. The bell has just gone. Here we go. It's going to be a slobber knocker.
Whether you're watching, whether you're listening to us, if for whatever reason you're unable to watch the game right now, or listen to the game, then you've got us, the Pig and the Hen show, and we're on the fight now.
Here we go, both fighters. I was expecting more of a sort of clash as soon as they came out from the bell here, but they're feeling each other out. Chris Eubank Jr. throws a couple of stiff jabs to the body. Ooh. Nothing connects. George Groves goes for the left jab. Just glances the chin of Chris Eubank Jr. Again, Chris Eubank Jr. looking very, very quick here.
And Groves looking like the aggressor earlier on. Which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Eubank of the two fighters to probably come out on the front foot, but it doesn't look like that. For me, Groves is standing his ground at the moment.
And now they're both in the ring with just shorts on, facing each other. There doesn't seem to be that much of a height discrepancy, you know, or a build discrepancy. Chris Eubank Jr. obviously added a bit of muscle. I think it suits him, you know. Whether or not it's going to slow him down, gas him out later in the rounds, carrying that extra muscle, we'll find out. But I think size-wise, it looks like an even matchup right now. George Groves with a good left jab there.
You can see that Groves has got that slight reach advantage there, just feeling them out there. The biceps on Groves as well are just that slightly larger.
What's he been doing? Oh, yeah, good left jab followed up with a right hook that misses from George Groves. I was expecting to see more from Eubank Jr. in this opening round so far. Is he just feeling him out, seeing what he's going to have to do to adapt and change in this fight? Because he's never really faced too much adversity, Chris Eubank Jr., whereas George Groves certainly has. Experience-wise, you know, ring IQ, whatever you want to call it, you've got to give it to George. So let's see how Eubank Jr. can rise to the challenge.
Certainly both fighters this evening have a lot of respect in different ways. Have been in some big fights. You know, I remember Groves Froch. What a fight that was.
Which one, the first one?
The last one that I saw.
Oh, well, is that the last one or the first one?
Which would have been the last one, obviously.
The first one was better because George Groves put him down on the ground, and then it was a controversial stoppage. Grovesy could have easily won that fight. That's the thing, it was quite controversial. So, although he's got that loss on his record, it's a little bit of controversy behind it because it was a bit of a poor stoppage, a little bit too soon, I think. The second one, of course, he got knocked out, did the old stanky leg and everything under the rope. So that was comprehensive from Carl Froch. But Carl Froch, best of his generation, you know, so that's no disgrace to lose to him twice.
Very much so. Well, obviously, Eubank Jr. also having lost in recent times. But, you know, from that loss, it didn't really affect him too much. If anything, it kind of made him a bigger name, which can be unusual in boxing. He's kind of weathered that, very much so. Who was it that you fought? Billy.
Joe Saunders.
Joe Saunders. That's the
thing. You need, and that's the end of the first round. But you need to face adversity. You need to have a loss. You need to lose. I think you need to know what it feels like to lose as a boxer. You know, to grow and improve. You know, if you go into, obviously there are boxers that go undefeated their entire career. Floyd Mayweather, Kawasaki, these types of guys. But it's very rare, you know. And usually you learn from your losses. You don't learn so much from your wins. You know, obviously it depends on the fight. But most of the time, you learn from your mistakes. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see that as a bad thing that he's got lost on his record. Just like I don't see it as a bad thing that George Groves has lost to Carl Froch twice and Badu Jack. You know, those are great boxers. 140 people in here right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do us a favour, chuck a like on this video. We will keep you up to date with what's going on in this huge British boxing match taking place tonight.
Dean Flynn says, what channel is this on? It's on the Pig and the Hen channel. That's what channel it's on, mate. Do you know what I mean? He found it.
It's not on a channel. It's actually on ITV box office, so you have to pay for it, you know, which I've done.
Well, there we go.
Here we go. Second round underway.
So first round, I say, you know, not too much of it. Kind of feeling each other out, really. Donation in the house from James Arnold. Thank you so much. Didn't have a chance to read your comment there. I'm sure the pig will oblige.
Thank you very much, James. He's just super chatting us. £2, you legend. He says, be close. It will be close, but Eubank's just edged the fight. Seems to be the general consensus. Most people in here right now are suggesting that is going to be the case, that Eubanks is going to get the finish.
Could easily go to points, couldn't it, really? And it'd be a shame. I want to see a knockout. You always want to see a knockout in boxing, don't you, really? You want to see a player being able to dominate, you know, for a round or two and then giving the killer blow.
Eubank Jr. doing a very good job of just keeping the distance, staying away, using that head movement. He's clinched up now with George Groves. George Groves will get a little bit frustrated with that continued tactics because he's the type of fighter, he likes to come forward, he likes to have a bit of a ruck. Eubank Jr., he's not getting involved with any of that right now.
If anything, Eubank Jr. will be inviting that. He'd rather Groves actually get closer to him because, you know, with that reach disadvantage that he has, he wants to get inside Groves really, so he can, you know, he can get the machine working close up, which is what he's going to prefer.
I also think, a few shots flying in left hook from George Groves connects. A little bit
of a scuff on the cheek.
It connects.
Oh, and both getting the shots on.
Bit of an exchange there in the clinch. George Groves goes for another swinging overhand right, but Chris Eubank is nowhere to be seen. And Chris Eubank looking a little bit more comfortable now. He's not backing up so much now. He's occupying the centre of the ring. Like you say, he wants George Groves to come onto him. He wants the counter punch. He wants to expose George Groves and capitalise on any mistakes that he makes. At the moment, it's quite a defensive fight from Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr. momentarily down on the ground, but he just slipped, I think, gets back up. And in he goes. Oh, and he connects well on George Groves.
From Eubank Jr., which came from nowhere there when he seemed like he was on the back foot. He's got him in the corner. A couple of shots in on the head. Groves is clinging on now. Referee's breaking it up and it gets back to the centre of the ring. But a little bit of aggression there showed by Chris Eubank, where Groves has mainly been on the front foot this round.
Great flurry there from Chris Eubank Jr., pushing Groves up into the corner. Grovesy, composed though, recovered straight away. He's now occupying the centre of the ring, forcing Chris Eubank into the corner now. Jab to the body. Very comfortable, Chris Eubank Jr., though, I must say, so far.
And certainly a lot more explosive than the first round here. It's such a tactical sport boxing.
And there's the bell.
It's not just about standing there and having a punch up. It's obviously a lot more to it than that. These fighters, they have to mentally, you know, try to ascertain how much of their energy they should be using at certain points of the round. Not necessarily which rounds they should be going for it more, but which points in the round it's worth being the aggressor, worth pushing that extra little bit. It's certainly it's like a seesaw in that respect. It's epic, and I can see that tonight.
Very tactical. I was hoping they were just going to go out there and go, fuck you, now fuck you, now fuck you, now fuck you. But unfortunately, it's not been the case so far. It's not been the exchange that I was hoping for.
I enjoyed that. Hear from Eubank Jr. Seeing the replay now. Got Groves up in the, I don't think Groves took too many actual real harming hits there. But
he took one real nice one.
Oh, and Eubank took a nasty one there, really. I think that's the moment where you said
he
went down.
Looked like he slipped.
Quite went down. He didn't quite.
It looked like a punch to the back of the head there, which just floored him for a moment. He got straight back up. Third round underway. 2 minutes 52 seconds.
And I have to say that Eubank Jr., he does look more and more like his dad, doesn't he? He does.
Yeah, he's definitely getting there. Oh, George Groves, a big overhand right there, connects. Eubank Jr. fires back with a couple of his own. Groves not there to be seen.
Excuse me. Oh, and he missed a couple of heavy hits that Groves attempted there were missed, and that'll do him no good.
Oh, great right hand by Eubank Jr. He's got Groves here, look, up against the ropes. Up against the ropes, uppercut, swinging left, huge left, and George Groves clinches him up. Uppercut, right hook from Chris Eubank Jr. Best combination and best moment of the fight so far for Chris Eubank Jr. He really had Groves worried there for a moment.
Certainly a bit of a showing to Groves of, fuck you, Groves, I'm in this fight, I reckon I can have you. Definitely displayed there.
This is way more tactical than I was expecting, though. I was expecting a slobber knocker. So far, it's quite measured, it's quite methodical from both fighters. At the moment, I'd say Eubank Jr. just edging it in terms of damage, in terms of intensity, aggression.
Well, he is the favourite tonight, and so far he's showing that. We could have a knockout this evening. We certainly could, because I think both fighters are up for this. They're going to be using a lot of energy. If they for 1 second let their guard down and take a heavy knock, I think both of them have the physicality to be able to knock, because there's been people not sure that Eubank would be able to knock out Groves, but I think he could.
I totally agree, yeah. Why not? Look at the size of this bloke. He looks like an absolute Adonis.
Certainly, what you'd be looking for is a combo of hits from Eubank. I think is what's going to do it. You know, like back on your Sega Mega Drive kind of beat 'em up games where it's like up down A, up down sideways B, and it just bang 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 combo. It's going to be something like
that Asian chick from Street Fighter who does the kick. You know what I mean? That crazy kick.
Exactly. Yeah.
The feather kick.
There we go. Maybe we might be able to see Mayweather doing that against the McGregor at some point, hopefully.
Maybe, let's hope so. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Fantastic.
Feeling each other out still, it seems. Nobody's going in there committing too much.
Third round, explosive early on. Seems like it's gone on for a long time, hasn't it? Since
35 seconds left. Raj Taj Mahood, how's it going, Raj? He comments and says, Groves' chin is weak, lads. But we have seen it exposed a couple of times, Certainly in the Carl Froch second fight, he was put down, did the stanky leg under the rope. And certainly his chin didn't hold up that night. So far, it's holding up okay, but the more shots that he takes from Chris Eubank Jr., the more likely he is, for it to affect him. So let's see how that pans out.
And I have to be honest. I'm looking at Eubank Jr. at the moment. I think he really does look like a mean machine, doesn't he? He looks like a fighter. He looks like someone that might actually have something special about him. Because
definitely something
Groves,
special.
For me, the way I see this fight this evening, I think Groves is a good fighter, a very, very good fighter. But he isn't anything, let's say, exceptional in terms of fighting talent, right? Whereas Chris Eubank Jr., I think, has got a lot more to give. He can become a better boxer. He is someone that could be something extra special, but he's yet to prove it. So
this is his big test.
It's a massive fight this evening.
That's it. If Chris Eubank wins this fight, he's right up there with the current generation of boxers, to be fair. And I was saying before you got here, actually, the fact that he does have a father like Chris Eubank Sr., it just, he's got that lineage, he's got that tutelage, he's got those physical characteristics that you get from your father. And of course, he was one of the best British boxers at the time of when he was fighting. So I think all of that adds up to perhaps being a special fighter, which is great because he's British, he's from Brighton, this is what we want. We want British boxing to be the best in the world. And right now, you have to say it is, heavyweight division. These lads, there's some really great fighters all up and down the country. So
boxing is on the up in the UK, that's for sure. It's massive.
Round 4 underway, 2 minutes 49 seconds.
I did notice during the rest period there, certainly Eubank Jr. did have a bit of a bloody face there. Because he has certainly taken a couple of hits that I may not have noticed that have broken the skin there.
Or maybe it was his dad on the corner, during
slapping
the break
around.
Slapping him around. You stupid fool. What are you doing getting hit? Something like that. You fool. He's got a
and
funny
the more I
old
look
voice.
at it, the more that Eubank Jr. looks like a little boxer there, and Groves kind of looks like the bassist from some band that never really made it. Some one of their metal bands trying to be some sort of System of a Down or something.
He looks like
some
the
drummer
System of a
or
Down
some
guy,
shit.
right? He's the bassist from System of a Down.
Yeah,
just missing the beard.
I don't think you trust in my. That should be his intro, shouldn't it?
I like his intro, actually.
You're missing on something there, Groves. That'd be epic.
He had a Spitfire Prodigy as his intro, pretty cool.
That's it. I was banging because I was listening to it in the car. Obviously, listen to it in the car on the way here. So excited about the fight.
Groves, he's caught up with a big right hook and a big right uppercut. Eubank Jr. tries to apply a couple of rabbit punches here from George Groves.
Junior's got him in the corner.
That was a really good right hand from George Groves.
In terms of positional play there, it has been Groves that has been backing into the ropes of recent or the last couple of rounds there. But Prodigy, brilliant, absolutely love it. No one makes music like that anymore. It pisses me off. It does.
Music is shit at the moment, actually.
It is.
It really is.
But I think everybody just says that, and then when they get
old... I know, when we get old,
it's
like, but come on, music. Justin Bieber, freaking Little Mix,
Ed Sheeran's alright.
I tell you what, I'm not really into Ed Sheeran, mate. I tell you what I do like, actually, randomly, is Lana Del Rey just does it for me, mate.
Okay.
Love a bit of Lana.
I don't even know who Lana Del Rey is. That's how out of times I am with modern pop.
Very haunting music.
Let's get back to the fight anyway.
Back to the fight.
About Del Rey or some shit.
30 seconds left in the 4th round here. Good round for George Groves. Good left hook from him.
And Eubank going in with some ferocious hits there. Ferocious hits, whether that's hitting Whilst Groves is blocking, I don't think he made too much contact, but certainly an absolute outburst of energy there.
Really good job from Groves just to tie him up there.
The question is this the right thing to be doing?
Eubank Jr. coming forward.
Is it the right thing to be doing?
Huge punches.
Eubank obviously sees that there's an opportunity to get some good hits on Groves. Is it the right decision to be making, though, at this moment in time? Is he going to tire himself out? Does he have the stamina to continue to attack Groves in that way?
Indeed. End of the 4th round. Very even contest so far. You know, there's a couple of rounds that Eubank's won, a couple of rounds that Groves has won, I believe. You know, I haven't seen the scorecards, and obviously me and Henry have been chatting away here, so hard to score it properly.
Heavy cut on Eubank Jr.'s eyebrow there. Certainly looks like it's being patched up, but blood pouring from his face. It doesn't always mean that you're out of a fight, though, does it? Or doesn't mean how much of a detriment is that to a fighter?
Well, in that scenario, he's just got a cut on this side of his eyebrow there. It's not really an issue. If it was above his eye and it perhaps streaming down into his eye, it could be an issue. If it was a big, wide cut, you know, of course, Groves can target it, open it up even more.
On the chin there of Eubank.
But some people just cut easier than others. That's the thing. You often see fighters, they look like they're in absolute state. Nate Diaz in the UFC, for instance, just gets bloodied up every single time. But he still keeps coming forward, so it doesn't really mean anything. Round 5. Fight!
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Just freeze him, innit? Freeze him.
Finish him.
Punch a frozen...
Get over here, George. Finish him. Fatality.
Brilliant.
Shouldn't probably make those sorts of jokes, actually, bearing in mind that Chris Eubank Jr. has actually really hurt one of the fighters that he faced in the past, and so did his dad.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that is something that does come with the territory of boxing. Is horrific injuries, unfortunately.
It is.
It's the closest thing to blood sport that we have in the modern era, essentially.
Yeah, that's the one difference between UFC or MMA, rather, and boxing, is that in MMA, if you get taken down and you get, you know, it looks like you're finished, then you don't get 10 seconds to recover. If you get knocked down on the ground and you're wobbling around and you get back up, the fight is over, you know. The other fighter will jump on you, finish the fight, the ref will call it, that's it. You don't get the opportunity to then get up for how many more times and take more punishment to the skull. That does not happen so much in UFC. Whereas in boxing, of course, they can get up 3, 4, 5 times in a fight after taking all that punishment, and it just accumulates.
And George goes still backing away. Eubank got him back on the ropes here.
Underhooks in there by George Groves, and the referee separates them.
Being separated. And I think Eubank is just looking for that opportunity now, just to unleash that flurry of shots that I was talking about, that combo that is necessary to get Groves on the floor.
He's looking for a simple left jab followed by a big overhand right. He's tried that a few times this round alone. He's been unsuccessful with every single attempt. But he's looking for that deadly combo, that powerful right hand. George Groves looking at more like he uses jab.
Haven't really seen much from Groves in the last few rounds, you know, trying to stand his ground, but certainly the aggressor has been Eubank Jr. But Eubank Jr. has taken damage, as you can see from his face. It's kind of Groves on the counter-attack, using that reach to get the shot in when Eubank's left himself.
Oh, a couple of rabbit punches coming in over there from George Groves, and the fighters are separated here by the referee once again. 37 seconds left in the 5th round here. Mark Hughes comments and says Groves is landing way more punches, but Groves is likely to gas out. Very true. But won't Eubank Jr. find it a little bit more challenging cardio-wise later in the fight because he's got that added extra muscle he's not necessarily used to? Breaking the action here.
Groves is pissed off here, but Groves is still definitely in this.
Henry, you've been using dog shit to brush your teeth again, mate.
Mate, Carabao, mate.
Oh, yeah, what it is. You've been drinking Carabao again.
Yeah, man.
It's filth, mate. I think we should change your name to Henry Halitosis, because that is fucked up.
Mate, just don't get close to
mate, that's a Carabao calamity, mate. You're blowing it in my direction, pal.
Oh, and Groves on the ropes again.
Sorry,
a
mate.
Couple more hits there from Eubank Jr.
End of the round. The onlookers looking on intently.
And the eyebrows looked at straight away. That is the first thing.
Yeah. His cut man attending to him.
Certainly blood pouring from the face there, and it is a concern.
Yeah, it's nothing to worry about. Unless it really opens up a lot wider. Where it is, it's not really going to affect him much. I don't think that's dripping down into his eye. You know, it's not too much of a worry.
It's certainly a spot that Groves could potentially look.
That's right. He'll be looking to target, looking to open it. If he opens it further, then it could be a serious issue, you know, and he will certainly be going for that. Oh, good replay of a big left hook by Chris Eubank Jr. on Groves in that round, and he missed with the follow-up right hand. George Groves, in response, landed a good left hook of himself.
Exchanging blows there from the replays.
Here we go, round 6 underway.
Been a good fight so far, I think.
Very tactical. Not so much of a back-and-forth slobber knocker that I was expecting from these two. A lot more tactical. Still some good exchanges. Want to see a bit more. Eubank Jr. with a big right hook.
Quick exchange of flurry of blows. Junior looks like he's again got the upper hand.
Ooh.
And I think that Groves might be in trouble there a little bit because he's just shoved Eubank Jr. through the ropes, which obviously he cannot do. Referee's broken it up, brings it back to the centre of the ring.
Little bit unsportsmanly there from the lads. Let's see what they can do this round. Is that going to piss Eubank Jr. off? Come on, Chris. Let's see what you can do, pal. I think of the two fighters, though, Eubank Jr. looking the fresher of the two at the moment. You know, George Groves, as somebody commented a moment ago, looking likely that he may gas out. You know, he has landed a few more shots. Some good power punches as well. But fitness-wise, he's looking a little bit worse for wear compared to Chris Eubank Jr. He looks like an absolute just Adonis. And he's got Groves up in the corner again. He's unleashing some flurries. Groves fires back.
And yet Junior certainly laying into him there. Regardless of Groves blocking the shots, it's still going to be going through, sending the shockwaves through, and it's still going to be hurting him, I think.
Minute 30 left in the round. Ooh.
And a bit of a miss punch, if there's such a thing, from Eubank Jr. there. Air shot. And again.
Eubank Jr. looking to work the body, now goes upstairs with those rangy jabs, just finding his distance more than anything. And he lunges in there, trying to get inside. Groves backs away. Yeah, and at the moment, I don't think this is turning out to be just as easy a fight as each fighter was anticipating.
Not at
Both
all.
very confident going into this, but I think they've come up against a fighter very similar in abilities, very similar in toughness.
Going for this, though, certainly out of the two fighters, trying to get Groves up on the ropes, trying to get hits in, combinations of hits.
A lot of clinching going on. Referee separates them again. 30 seconds left in this round.
And can we see the points so far?
Groves has landed 3 more punches in round 6, and he threw 3 less. So in terms, he's actually thrown less punches than Eubank Jr., but landed more. So in terms of accuracy, in terms of point scoring, you'd have to give this round again to George Groves. Very even so far, I would imagine, on the cards.
With those statistics, but that comes down to the fact that Eubank has been the aggressor, going for the...
Oh, Eubank with a couple of really good punches at the end here. And the bell goes and the referee splits them up. But good end to the round there from Eubank Jr. May have just stolen that round. Who knows? You know, that's what a few good punches, a nice combination at the end of a round can do.
Certainly a very, very close match at the moment. You can't say that someone is dominating in any respect, or that anyone is, you know, could you see a winner from this point on?
No, I mean, I think maybe George Groves is just slightly, ever so slightly, by a gnat's bollock ahead on the scorecards. But who knows, you know, he could gas out. Chris Eubank Jr. looking the fresher. I think this fight's going to go pretty much all the way. There's 12 rounds, of course. I said George Groves round 10, but who knows what's going to happen. You said, what, round 7? So your pick was Eubank in the next round. Let's see if you can get there.
Well, Eubank certainly seems to have been the... I mean, for me, Eubank has been the better boxer so far in terms of well, not the better boxer. That's the wrong words to use, but... He's been the more enthusiastic. He looks like he wants to win. Or
The
he's
round's
trying
underway.
to win it by knockout. more than Groves is. I think Groves is quite happy to weather this and perhaps win it later on, like you suggested.
Or outpoint him, yeah. Round 7, 2 minutes 45 seconds left on the clock. If you guys want to sync it up, we will try and keep you up to date with absolutely everything that's going on in this fight. If you're not able to watch it, if you are watching it, 2 minutes 36 seconds in round 7. If you guys want to sync it, but everybody who's here and tuning in, thanks so much for joining us for this match. Fight Companion, chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. We do football reactions, football commentaries, boxing commentaries, all that sort of thing. So hit that subscribe button, maybe even click the bell end as well, so you get notified when we upload a video. And that way you'll keep up to date with everything that's going on this channel. So please do that. George Groves here, looking like the more defensive fighter at the moment. Chris Eubank, he's occupying the centre of that ring. He's forcing Groves on the outside here, and he is the one throwing punches, and he gets George Groves up against the ropes. He's looking for those sneaky uppercuts in the clinch here. Groves gets him in a headlock. Eubank moves back and unleashes a flurry of punches to the body, but they're all hitting the arms. They're all hitting the arms and the gloves, and Groves is absolutely fine.
And yeah, it can be deceptive, can't it, when you're watching boxing, and sometimes it's hard to tell whether something's made contact or not. But you're quite right. If nothing is getting through from Eubank Jr. when Groves is on the ropes in those situations, then that can only be to the detriment of the aggressor that's using the energy to throw those punches.
Mr. Cully with a comment. Hiya, Mr. Cully. He says, Groves, hurry up and knock this guy out. He's obviously got a cheeky bet on Groves round 7. I haven't got any bets on tonight. I should have done. My bet would have been just outright George Groves to win 6-4. You know,
close to
that's it. There's
really
not really any good bets on. That's the problem. Unless you're going for a round and you're just a bit lucky then, aren't you, if you win that? Oh, and the commentator's just saying that Chris Eubank Jr. may have received another cut in this round as well. It's looking like there's blood pouring from his face from a different cut which George Groves has opened. So not only one cut to contend with, but 2 at the moment.
And that could be of concern, as previously said, if George Groves can continue to weather the storm that Eubank is trying to muster, then he can certainly use that spare energy and that ability to target those wounded areas later on.
These lads are both warriors, though. You can see it. You know, they're gonna have to do something special to knock the other one out here. They really are. You know, Chris Eubank Jr.'s got his dad's warrior spirit, that determination, that never say die attitude. Groves puts him down. Groves puts him down, but was it a slip there? I missed it.
It was a bit of a slip. Eubank going for some big shots there. He's taunting Groves now. He's saying, "Come on." He's obviously got the energies. He's up for this.
End of the round.
Unfortunately, he's missing a few of those hits there.
Tyson Fury looks on. He's looking a little bit more in shape. Tyson Fury, you know, one of Britain's best heavyweights. Maybe he's not looking a little bit in better shape then. Tyson Fury pretty much looking like me. I think a few people just commented saying, "Is that you at ringside there, Joe?" Tyson Fury, I'd have him for breakfast.
So who am I in the boxing world?
If he was staying in my hotel and then I'd serve him breakfast. I don't have a hotel.
Who would I be in the boxing world then?
Manny Pacquiao.
Who else is there that kind of has...
Well, is there any South Korean boxers of note? There's got to be some.
Not really, no, mate.
But you're not Filipinian, are you? So you can't really be Manny. But then, you know, he does look like a bit of a Manny.
There we go, yeah.
To be fair, who am I then? Come on. Shoot some comments at us. Who are we? Is he Manny Pacquiao? Am I Tyson Fury? Somebody's going to say I look like Butterbean now and I'm going to get pissed off.
Butterbean.
Butterbean, you know, big flat
Here we go,
baby
round 8. And we're getting to the latter stages of this fight now tonight. So obviously, knockout did not happen in the 7th round, so my prediction was completely wrong, but who knew? Who knew?
Tough to call, though. Really is tough to call this fight.
And Heiko Franz-Dimmertigo.
Firestorm Tiger.
That's it. I was trying to make it more eccentric, more sexual. No. I've forgotten what I was going to say there now. Well, no, I was going to make, different weight class lads. Well, very much so. Eubank Jr. is certainly not in this natural kind of weight class. You can see that. You can see that Junior's holding extra muscle to get that weight up, and muscle cut. It's not always good. It looks good.
It can slow you down. It can make you gas out quicker, but